Now, the latest on the Houthi attacks in the Middle East. We are joined by Vice President of Foreign Policy at the Heritage Foundation, Victoria Coates. Victoria, thanks so much for joining us today. It's an important topic. I think many people had never heard of the Houthis before this war with Israel began in October. This is a very dangerous group. They are responsible for kidnapping Americans, raping and mutilating women. But, you know, in February of 2021, shortly after President Biden took office, he took them off the list of foreign terrorist organizations. Given what's going on, is it time to redesignate them as a foreign terrorist organization?
Good to be with you, Anita. They never should have been taken off this list. The process to put the Houthi on the FTO list, which is, goes through the State Department and the Treasury Department and Defense, is a legal process. You have to establish that they are engaging in certain types of activities. It's not just something President Trump or Secretary Pompeo did by a whim. They did it because the Houthi were behaving as terrorists. And what we've seen out of them for the last 2 months are 22 attacks. Yes, some on U.S. and British and French Navy vessels, but also just on commercial shipping. That is the definition of terrorism. And I'd just add, the guy that you were just reporting on from New Jersey, who was trying to provide material support for al-Shabaab, if he actually did that for the Houthi, who are lobbing ballistic missiles at our warships, he would not face the same consequences because the Biden administration decided to de-designate them.
Yeah. That's just it's unbelievable. And, you know, according to our own national security correspondent, Jennifer Griffin, the Houthis have attacked over 21 international vessels in the Red Sea. They are, of course, backed and funded by Iran. As I mentioned, they're causing a lot of havoc in the region. The U.S. has not responded to these specific attacks in the Red Sea. What are your thoughts on that, and what can or what should the administration be doing?
Well, we've been exclusively defensive up till now, and we have significant assets. We've got the Eisenhower Carrier Group, we've got Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, the Lamboon, for example, the Mason. These are incredibly capable vessels for the United States Navy. And the good news is that they've been doing yeoman's work, shooting down these various projectiles. The bad news is we've had to do it. And my concern, Anita, is that when everyone gets back in the office next week, we're going to start to see the results of half the shipping through the Red Sea and the Suez Canal having to go all the way around Africa. I saw some reporting today that shipping costs to send something from Asia to Europe may triple in coming months. All of that is going to hit Americans who are already suffering from our own economic troubles in the wallet, in the pocketbook, because, you know, those costs will be passed on to American consumers. And that's why I think the administration needs to be much more aggressive about pushing the Houthi back and making it clear to the Iranians, we're not going to stand for this.
Yeah, there are going to be real ramifications for everyday Americans, that's for sure. And, you know, just a couple of days ago, the Treasury Department leveled sanctions on an alleged network in Yemen sending Iranian funds to the Houthi rebels. These entities have transferred millions of dollars to the Houthis at the direction of Iran. Will these sanctions have any effect on their operations?
No, they won't. It's window dressing at best. And the administration has facilitated the enrichment of the Iranian regime by acts like de-designating the Houthi, which would have made this more difficult. It would have put more sanctions on them. But then also stopping enforcing the sanctions on Iranian oil exports, primarily to China. That has been the billions and billions of dollars that have flowed to Tehran in the last 3 years that have funded things like October 7th that are funding the Houthi. That you could crack down on with much more serious action out of the Treasury Department, but the administration shows no interest in that.
Well, one other thing the administration is trying to do is to launch this new multi-nation maritime force called Operation Prosperity Guardian to protect commerce in the Red Sea. But so far, two allies, Italy and Spain, have backed out. A quick answer here. Why do you think that is, and what more do you know about that?
I don't think anyone believes the Americans are going to take decisive action. The French don't want to take direction from the Americans because they don't think it's going to actually protect their ships. We are projecting weakness, Anita, and it's going to have really, I think, unfortunate consequences going into the new year.
Oh, well, it is a dangerous situation, and, you know, we certainly hope for the best there. But thank you so much, Victoria Coates, for your insights today on that, and Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you and Griff.
Thanks.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.